57, 58, 59, 5 o'clock! Team, it's tea time! While the kettle is on the stove, let's go through the list of British vehicles available in the game and find out what machines are your best picks for getting to the top. As usual, let's start from the bottom. What we immediately see are vehicles with an unbelievably massive gun. For the first era, that is. Yeah, you only get a solid shot to play with. But with guns like that, you do almost as much damage as those pesky Soviets. The French and the Japanese certainly can't keep up with that, so your only true rivals when it comes to damage are the Germans, the USA, and the USSR. We should also keep in mind that the British are almost always sided with the Americans, so that leaves only two nations to worry about. British tanks found at the lowest tier look very much alike, and play pretty much the same. Take a look, for instance, at the A-13, or the Crusader. We're bound to say a few words about armor, but it just isn't there. Well, like on basically any low-ranked vehicle. Let's take a gander at the mighty Crusader Mark III. No more than 20mm in the front, and even less on the sides or in the rear, can be penetrated by anything except machine guns. Mobility? There is nothing to complain about. The tanks are pretty fast. Well, there is the Valentine Mark I, which is, let's say, it takes it some time to get into the thick of things. The vehicles of the second rank have more variety. Furthermore, vehicles now have quirks and, because of that, their own gameplay. Are you looking for medium tanks with excellent mobility and good guns? Here they are. A Cromwell with one gun. A Cromwell with another gun. Even a Cromwell with rockets, for goodness sake. You prefer a somewhat more relaxed gameplay? Get yourself a Churchill. There ain't anyone with better armor at its BR. Here comes another Valentine. Probably rushes to join the fray as well. Wait, what's that? A tank without a gun? No MGs either? That's just a harmless archer. The third era will be here for a while. Take a good hard look at this baby. A 17-pounder gun. Yeah, it's still all about solid shot, but look at this caliber. My goodness. The damage you deal with a solid shot is on a par with what you get with the Soviet APHE fired from an 85mm cannon. If you aim at the center of a tank, of course. Armor, though, basically only the Churchill Mark VII has some. Other tanks can be penetrated with almost anything enemies can throw at you. For fairness' sake, you can sometimes be saved by your mantlet. The British make pretty tough mantlets, that's for sure. Mobility is pretty good. Medium tanks and SPGs get to their firing positions almost at the same time. Obviously, we can't go any further without saying a few words about the biggest stars of Rank 3. These are, indisputably, the Sherman Firefly, and its premium version, the Scorpion. Also, the Comet and the Avenger. A 17-pounder, good mobility, and a thick mantlet. These vehicles make for very tough opponents. Here comes the most interesting part. The vehicles of Rank 4. Here, almost every machine deserves a video of its own. We'll try to keep it as short and informative as possible. At BR 5.7, you get the beauty called the Centurion Mark I. It has mobility, it has shells fully capable of one-shotting enemies, even decent armor. A bit higher, at BR 6.3, you can find the Charioteer. What can we say? A 20-pounder gun at BR 6.3. Your APDS can penetrate the upper frontal plate of the T-44. Conclusion: forget about enemy armor. For an owner of a Charioteer, it simply doesn't exist. The same applies to the Centurion Mark III, the FV-4202 or the Carnarvon. This same powerful gun, but now with a fully working stabilizer. By the way, Britain is the only nation that has stabilizers like this on Rank 4 vehicles. A huge advantage. The fifth era, not a big list, only 6 names. 3 medium tanks, a heavy, an SPG, and an SPAAG. A lot of L1 and L7 guns, a somewhat thicker armor, somewhat better penetration rates, but all in all, nothing to write home about. Brace yourself for some tough battles. Keep calm and carry on. Time for the last era, the 6th. Did you harden yourself in the crucible of the 5th rank? You will need all of that experience here. If your nerves are as hard as the armor of the KV-1E, take the Chieftain Mark III. It's the slowest MBT at its BR and has no APFSDS. APDS or HESH only, but you get a very well-protected turret. Play very carefully, always protecting your frame. Not enough? Okay. Climb higher and take the Chieftain Mark V. You'll get an engine that is 100 horsepower more powerful than the one on its predecessor, and also more dangerous enemies to fight, for the crown. If that's not enough to faze you, raise the ante and get yourself a Chieftain Mark X. At BR 9.3, you get a brand new APFSDS, and an even sturdier turret, which is insane. The turret of the Mark X cannot be penetrated by most guns that you'll encounter. Stillbrew composite turret armor, mate, and with the new shell, your tank is like a hot knife through butter. Or get your hands on some ATGMs and pretend that you're a catapult. It's a lot of fun, actually. A few words about the newcomer brought by the update 1.81. The FV510 Warrior Tracked Armored Vehicle. It is an armored vehicle, all right, but with armor like that, you can shrug off machine gun fire, and that's basically it. Yeah, you can survive a few serious hits thanks to the roomy fighting compartment, but that's not what the Warrior's about. It is all about mobility and firepower. At first glance, its weapons are hardly an overkill. You get the L21A1 30mm cannon and the Milan ATGMs. When combined with its superior mobility, though, this kit allows you to do some serious damage. By the way, the Warrior has the power-to-weight ratio of 30 horsepower per ton and the max speed of more than 70 kph. That leaves only the Challenger and the SPAAG. The latter is fine. The Brits, we'll have you know, have the second best SPAAGs after the Germans in terms of their overall capability to fight enemy aircraft. They can put out a high volume of fire, have decent mobility, and come equipped with roofs. All in all, that makes them formidable opponents for any enemy aircraft. The Challenger is an interesting vehicle. It inherited all the flaws of the other high-level British tanks, but also absorbed all of their good traits. In other words, you get weak hull armor, a nigh indestructible turret, and good shells. You'll have to play very carefully using the landscape to your advantage, which the Challenger, with its decent mobility, can do very well. If you enjoy calculated plays and high-risk, high-reward kind of gameplay, give it a try. What British tanks help you to climb to the top? Tell us in the comments below, and see you in battle.